Stop right now. I need you to listen very carefully, because what I'm about to reveal will change how you see disrespect forever. Most people get angry, they scream, they argue, they beg for respect. But you're different. You're smarter. And if you do this one thing, if you master this single skill, you will never feel powerless again. In fact, the next time someone disrespects you, they won't see your rage. They won't hear your comebacks. They'll only witness something far more terrifying, your silence. And that's when they'll realize they just made the biggest mistake of their life. Because while they're waiting for your reaction, you're already 3 steps ahead. While they're stuck in their petty games, you're climbing. While they're obsessing over yesterday's drama, you're building an empire they'll never be able to touch. This isn't just about ignoring disrespect. This is about weaponizing it, turning their negativity into fuel, transforming their doubt into unshakable proof that they were wrong about you. And by the time you're done watching this, you won't just walk away from disrespect. You'll make sure it haunts them forever. So lean in, pay attention, because I'm only going to say this once, and if you miss it, you'll regret it. Let that sink in. This isn't some vague idea. It's the brutal, unshakable truth that will change how you see every interaction for the rest of your life. When someone disrespects you, they didn't slip up. They didn't forget to treat you right. They didn't accidentally cross the line. No, they made a conscious decision, a cold, calculated move to let you know exactly where you stand in their eyes. Think about it. When you respect someone, truly value them, do you ever risk treating them like they're nothing? No, because you know what happens if you do. They walk away, they check you, they remind you of their worth, so you behave, you measure your words, you treat them carefully. But when someone disrespects you, that's not an oversight, that's a test. They're pushing to see how much you'll tolerate. They're probing to find out if you'll stand there and take it, or if you'll quietly accept that this is what you deserve. And here's the hardest pill to swallow. They knew exactly what they were doing. The smirk, the dismissive tone, the backhanded compliment, the blatant disregard, none of that was an accident. It was a message that says, I can treat you this way and you won't do a thing about it. And the moment you react, the moment you beg for their respect, the moment you explain why you deserve better, you just confirmed their belief. You just showed them that their disrespect got to you, that their opinion matters enough for you to fight for it. But here's the truth they don't want you to realize. Respect isn't requested, it's demanded. Not with words, not with arguments, but with unshakable action. The second someone disrespects you, they've already shown you who they are. They've already told you loud and clear that they don't value you. And the instant you try to convince them otherwise, you've already lost. Because respect isn't given to those who ask for it, it's given to those who command it. So what do? You stop explaining. You stop negotiating your worth. You stop giving them the satisfaction of watching you care. Instead, you act. You match their energy, not with anger, not with emotion, but with cold, unbreakable silence. You look them in the eye, say nothing, and remove yourself from their presence. No drama, no last word, no closure, just the deafening sound of their disrespect hitting the floor, unanswered. That silence, that's your power. That's your statement. That's you telling them without a single word, you don't control how I see myself. You don't get to decide my value. And you sure as hell don't deserve another second of my time. And here's what happens next. They panic. Because people who disrespect you need your reaction. They feed off your frustration. They thrive on knowing they got under your skin. But when you give them nothing, when you treat their disrespect like white noise, something so insignificant it doesn't even warrant a response, that's when they realize they underestimated you. That's when the weight of their own actions hits them. That's when they start questioning themselves. But by then, it's too late. Because you've already moved on, you've already leveled up, you've already proven not to them, but to yourself, that your peace is worth more than their apology, that your future is worth more than their past behavior, that your self-respect isn't up for negotiation. So remember this. The next time someone disrespects you, it wasn't a mistake, it was a choice. And the moment you accept that truth is the moment you take back your power, permanently. Every time you respond to disrespect with emotion, anger, explanations, pleading, or even visible hurt, you are handing over your power on a silver platter. You are giving them exactly what they want, confirmation that their words or actions landed, that they got to you, that they have control over your emotional state. And once they have that, you've already lost, because now they know your triggers, they know your weak spots, they know exactly how to manipulate you in the future. Think about it. Why do people disrespect others in the first place? It's not random, it's not accidental, it's strategic. Whether consciously or subconsciously, they are testing boundaries. They want to see how far they can push before you break. And the moment you react, whether with explosive anger or desperate justification, you reveal your breaking point. You show them where your limits are, and more importantly, you show them that they have the power to move those limits. That's why silence is the ultimate power move. It denies them the satisfaction of seeing you crack. It denies them the data they crave, the knowledge of how to control you. But here's what most people don't realize. Your reaction is the currency they're after. When you engage, when you argue, when you try to make them understand why what they did was wrong, you are paying them an attention. You are feeding their ego. You are giving them the emotional payoff they were seeking all along. Because disrespect isn't just about putting you down, it's about lifting themselves up. And the more you react, the more you fuel their sense of superiority. Let's break it down even further. Imagine someone throws an insult your way. If you fire back, if you get defensive, if you let your face flush with anger, what happens? The spotlight stays on them. The energy stays focused on their words, their actions, their impact on you. But if you stay silent, if you look at them like they're nothing and simply walk away, the spotlight dies. Their words hang in the air, unanswered, unacknowledged, and suddenly they are the ones left exposed. They are the ones who look foolish. They are the ones scrambling to regain control. This is why the most powerful people in the world master the art of non-reaction. They understand that silence is not empty. It is full of meaning. It communicates disdain without a single word. It communicates indifference, which is the ultimate insult to someone seeking a reaction, because indifference says, you are so insignificant that you don't even warrant my energy. And that is a devastating blow to anyone who thrives on control. Now, let's talk about the psychological shift that happens when you stop reacting. When you train yourself to respond to disrespect with silence, something incredible occurs. You rewire your own brain. You stop seeking validation from people who don't deserve it. You stop needing others to see your worth in order to believe in it yourself. You detach from the opinions of those who have no real power over you. And over time, this becomes your default setting. You no longer feel the rush of anger, the sting of hurt, the urge to defend yourself. Instead, you feel something far more potent, unshakable calm. This is the secret of true emotional strength. It's not about suppressing your feelings, it's about transcending them. It's about reaching a place where disrespect doesn't even register as worth your time, where you no longer feel the need to win an argument because you've already won the war for your own peace. And here's the best part. When you stop reacting, you force the other person to sit with their own behavior. Without your emotional response to distract them, they are left alone with their actions. And that is when the guilt creeps in. That is when the shame starts to eat at them. That is when they realize, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually that they misjudged you, that they underestimated you, that they lost you. But by then, it won't matter because you'll be long gone, moved on, unbothered. While they're still stuck in the same petty games, you'll be miles ahead, living a life so far above their nonsense that their disrespect doesn't even reach you anymore. So the next time someone tries to drag you into their drama, remember, the moment you react, you lose. The moment you stay silent, you win. Choose wisely. Most people think silence is weakness. They believe staying quiet means you're scared, that you're letting them win. But the truth? Silence is the most devastating weapon you possess. It's not about holding your tongue. It's about holding your power. When you refuse to engage, when you deny them the reaction they crave, You're not surrendering. You're executing the ultimate power move. Imagine this. Someone throws an insult your way. They're waiting, palms sweaty, heartbeat quick for your explosion. They've prepared their counter-arguments, rehearsed their smirk, readied themselves for battle. But you give them nothing. Not a word, not a flinch. Just calm, unbroken eye contact that lasts just a second too long before you casually turn away. In that moment, their entire strategy collapses. Their ammunition evaporates. They're left standing there, exposed, with nothing but the echo of their own pettiness ringing in their ears. This is why silence terrifies people, because in our loud, overstimulated world where everyone's fighting to be heard, choosing not to speak is revolutionary. It creates a vacuum where their disrespect should have landed. It forces them to sit with their own toxicity. While they are expecting a shouting match, you give them a void. And nothing is more unsettling than screaming into emptiness. But here's what makes silence truly powerful. It's not passive, it's not avoidance, it's a deliberate, calculated strategy. You're not biting your tongue because you can't think of a comeback, you're choosing restraint because they don't deserve your energy. That distinction changes everything. One comes from fear, the other from unshakable self-assurance. When you master strategic silence, something profound happens. You stop giving away your power in cheap transactions. Every word you don't say is energy saved for what truly matters. Every argument you don't engage in is time invested in your own growth. People will try to provoke you, test you, bait you, because they want to see where you break. Your silence becomes the unbreakable wall they can't penetrate. There's a reason the most dangerous people in any room are often the quietest. They understand that words are cheap, but restraint is priceless. They know that while others are busy announcing their strength, true power lies in the ability to remain composed when everyone expects you to crumble. Your silence isn't empty, it's loaded with unspoken authority. It communicates more than any rant ever could. This is how you turn the tables. When they come at you with disrespect, your silence forces them to confront themselves. Without your reaction to feed off, they're left alone with their own toxicity. And that's when the cracks start to show. That's when they begin questioning their own behavior. Because people can rationalize arguments, but they can't rationalize indifference. They can justify conflict, but they can't justify your refusal to play the game. Your silence becomes the mirror they can't escape from. Every cruel word they threw at you now bounces back, unanswered, forcing them to sit with what they've done. And that discomfort, that's where real change happens, not because you demanded it, but because your silence made it unavoidable. This is how you win without fighting. This is how you claim victory without lowering yourself to their level. Your silence isn't surrender, it's superiority. It's the ultimate display of self-control, the final proof that their opinion holds no weight in your world. While they're scrambling for relevance, you're already moving forward, untouched, unbothered, undeniably powerful. The world will try to convince you that loud equals strong, that quick comebacks equal intelligence, that reaction equals power. But you know the truth. You understand that real strength lies in what you refuse to engage with, in what you choose not to dignify with a response. That's the silent revolution. And it starts with you. Disrespect isn't just about putting you down, it's about lifting themselves up. Every insult, every backhanded compliment, every subtle dig is carefully crafted for one purpose, to get under your skin. They're not just speaking words, they're casting fishing lines, waiting to feel that satisfying tug when you bite. Your reaction is the prize. Your anger is their validation. Your emotional response is the oxygen that keeps their petty behavior alive. Think about the last time someone truly got to you. Recall how they watched your face for tells, the flushed cheeks, the clenched jaw, the way your voice tightened. Remember how their eyes lit up when they saw they'd hit their mark? That spark? That's what they live for. It's not about you, it's about the rush they get from knowing they can influence your emotional state. Your pain is their power. Your reaction is their reward. This is the dirty little secret of disrespect. It's a trap disguised as conflict. They want you to engage. They're counting on it. Because when you react, you're playing by their rules on their battlefield. You're giving them exactly what they need to paint themselves as the reasonable one while framing you as emotional or out of control. They provoke, you explode, and suddenly you're the problem. That's the game. And the only way to win is to refuse to play. But here's what they don't expect: ice, where they anticipate fire; calm, where they've prepared for storm; silence, where they've braced for screams. When you deny them the reaction they crave, you don't just frustrate them, you fundamentally disarm them. Their entire strategy collapses because you've removed the fuel their behavior requires. Without your reaction, their disrespect becomes meaningless, just empty words hanging in the air, increasingly awkward, increasingly exposing of their true nature. The most powerful realization you'll ever have is this: people who disrespect you don't deserve access to your emotional world. They don't earn the privilege of seeing what hurts you, what angers you, what makes you flinch. Your reactions are valuable currency. Why would you spend them on emotional bankrupts? Save your energy for those who've proven worthy of it. Let everyone else wonder why their attempts to provoke you keep hitting walls. This is where true power lives, in the gap between their expectation and your reality. They come armed for war, and you greet them with undisturbed peace. They're braced for impact, and you give them nothing to push against. This dissonance creates psychological whiplash that's far more effective than any clapback. Because while insults can be brushed off, indifference, that sticks, that lingers, that keeps them up at night, replaying the interaction, wondering why their usual tactics failed. Your non-reaction becomes the ultimate revenge. Not because you're passive, but because you're so far above their nonsense that it doesn't even register as worth your time. You're not ignoring them out of weakness. You're ignoring them because they're irrelevant to your peace. That distinction changes everything. One comes from fear, the other from unshakable self-assurance. The beautiful irony: the less you react, the more power you accumulate. Every time you refuse to engage, you strengthen your emotional discipline. Every time you deny them the satisfaction of seeing you rattled, you reinforce your own inner fortress. Over time, what once would have sent you spiraling now barely registers. Their words lose potency because you've revoked their access to your emotional triggers. This is how you win the war without fighting a single battle. Not by overpowering them, but by making yourself untouchable. Not by shouting louder, but by removing yourself from the conversation entirely. They're left shadowboxing with your ghost, while you're already miles ahead, focused on what truly matters. Remember, your reaction is the only thing that gives their disrespect meaning. Without it, their words are just noise. Their behavior is just pathetic. Their attempts to provoke are just sad little performances for an audience of none. So let them perform. Let them exhaust themselves trying to get a rise out of someone who's moved beyond caring. Your silence isn't just absence. It's armor. And it's impenetrable. Let's destroy a dangerous myth right now, that walking away means you're losing. Society has brainwashed you into believing that staying and fighting proves your strength, that enduring disrespect makes you tough, that tolerating toxicity is somehow noble. This is complete bullshit. The real power move? Turning your back and never looking back. Because when you walk away from disrespect, you're not running from battle, you're declaring the entire war beneath you. Understand this: toxic people need you present to abuse you. They require your attention to feed their dysfunction. Your physical or emotional presence is the stage where they perform their drama. When you remove yourself, the show can't go on. You're not just leaving a situation, you're pulling the plug on their entire power source. That's why walking away is the ultimate boss move they never expect. While they're preparing for conflict, you're already gone. While they're sharpening their knives, you've left the building. Their weapons become useless because their target has vanished. But here's what they don't tell you: walking away isn't passive. It's the most aggressive form of self-respect there is. You're not slinking off in defeat. You're making a conscious, calculated decision that this person, this situation, no longer deserves access to you. That's not weakness. That's warrior energy. That's not surrender. That's strategic dominance. You're not losing an argument, you're winning your life back. The magic happens in the aftermath. When you walk away and stay gone, you create psychological ripples that drive disrespectful people insane. Your absence becomes a haunting presence in their mind. They'll replay every interaction, searching for where they lost control. They'll concoct stories to explain why you left, none of which will be the painful truth that you simply outgrew them. Your disappearance forces them to confront an uncomfortable reality. They mattered so little to you that leaving required no explanation, no dramatic exit speech, no closure, just silence, just space, just gone. Here's the brutal truth most people miss. Walking away isn't about them at all. It's about reclaiming your most precious resources, time, energy, and peace. Every moment you spend engaged with people who disrespect you is stolen from your potential. Every drop of energy you waste trying to fix toxic relationships is energy you could have invested in your dreams. Your walk away isn't just from them, it's toward the best version of yourself. The psychological shift happens when you realize walking away isn't abandonment, it's evolution. You're not leaving because you can't handle it. You're leaving because you've handled enough. You're not escaping conflict, you're transcending it. The person who walks away isn't the loser. They're the one who finally understood their worth. While others stay stuck in draining cycles, you've upgraded your standards. While they're still playing checkers, you're already 3 chess moves ahead. And here's the beautiful part. When you make walking away your superpower, you develop an unshakable confidence. You no longer fear losing people because you trust your ability to thrive without them. You stop clinging to toxic situations because you know better ones await. Your tolerance for disrespect plummets to 0, not because you're fragile, but because you've become untouchable. People either meet your standards or become irrelevant, and that selectivity becomes your magnetic force. The most powerful form of revenge isn't confrontation, it's disappearance. Not the dramatic, attention-seeking kind, but the quiet, permanent kind that leaves them wondering. The kind where one day you're there, and the next, you're not. No explanations. No final words, just the deafening silence of your absence and the crushing weight of their regret. That's how you win without fighting. That's how you claim victory without lowering yourself. That's how you prove your worth, not by demanding respect, but by becoming someone who naturally commands it. Imagine this. Someone disrespects you. They mock your ambitions, belittle your progress, or outright dismiss your potential. Your blood boils. Your ego screams for vengeance. You want to throw their words back in their face, watch them squirm, make them regret ever doubting you. But here's the life-altering truth nobody teaches you. The greatest revenge isn't in the moment, it's in the aftermath. It's not in what you say today, it's in what you become tomorrow. Let's cut through the noise. Traditional revenge is for amateurs. Confrontations, clapbacks, petty arguments, that's playground stuff. You think you're winning by dragging yourself into mudslinging matches, but all you're doing is lowering yourself to their level. You're giving them exactly what they want, your attention, your energy, your precious time. Meanwhile, your dreams gather dust. Your potential stagnates. Your life becomes a tug of war between their nonsense and your purpose. But there's another way. A nuclear option so devastating it doesn't just erase their disrespect. It vaporizes their entire narrative about you. Success. Not the shallow, Instagram-filtered version, real success. The kind that rebuilds your identity from the ground up. The kind that turns their sneers into insecurity, their mockery into jealousy, their dismissals into obsessions. When you channel every ounce of pain, every flicker of anger, every drop of "I'll show them" energy into your grind, that's when you activate a force more powerful than any argument. Think about the psychology here. Disrespect thrives on your reaction. It wants you to engage, to defend, to prove yourself. But success? Success is indifferent. Success doesn't argue, it eclipses. When you disappear into your purpose and resurface transformed, you create cognitive dissonance so brutal it rewires their perception of you. They expected tears, you gave them triumph. They anticipated collapse, you built an empire. Their disrespect becomes a relic of the past, a cringeworthy reminder of how badly they misjudged you. This isn't hypothetical. History's most iconic figures mastered this art. J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter while labeled a single mother on welfare. Einstein was called mentally slow by teachers. Beyoncé was told girl groups don't succeed. What did they do? They didn't waste time rebutting critics. They weaponized the doubt into fuel. Every no became a stepping stone. Every smirk became motivation. Their success wasn't just personal achievement. It was a live demonstration of their critics' irrelevance. Now let's get tactical. How do you turn disrespect into rocket fuel? First, stop feeding the beast. Every minute spent obsessing over their opinions is a minute stolen from your destiny. Redirect that mental real estate. When insults pop into your head, immediately pivot to your vision board. When doubt creeps in, attack your to-do list like it owes you money. Second, embrace the obsession. Normal people shy away from obsession. Winners understand it's their superpower. Let your hunger for success become all-consuming. Work while they sleep. Learn while they gossip. Build while they tear down. Third, create unignorable proof. Success isn't a feeling, it's evidence. Bank statements, awards, body transformations, business growth. Make your progress so visible, so undeniable that their disrespect becomes laughable. But here's the secret sauce. Your silence amplifies everything. Imagine their confusion when they're braced for drama, but all they get is radio silence, until suddenly you're trending. You're launching. You're winning. No taunts, no gloating, just undeniable results. That's when it hits them. They're not even players in your story anymore. They're spectators. Your success isn't just revenge, it's erasure. This path isn't for the faint-hearted. It requires cold-blooded discipline. You'll ache to confront them, you'll itch to prove yourself. But true power lies in restraint. Let your new reality speak for itself. When you're driving the car they can't afford, when you're vacationing where they'll never visit, when you're surrounded by people they'll never meet, that's when the full weight of your victory crushes them. Not because you rubbed it in their face, but because your mere existence exposes their smallness. And here's the beautiful part. This isn't just about them. This is about you waking up unrecognizable, stronger, sharper, unbreakable. Every late night, every sacrificed weekend, every drop of sweat becomes armor. You stop caring about their opinions because you're too busy outgrowing them. The person they disrespected, that version of you is dead. You've evolved into someone they can't even comprehend. The clock's ticking. Every second you waste on their nonsense is a betrayal of your potential. You want revenge? Don't scream, ascend, don't fight. Transcend. Let your success echo so loudly it drowns out their noise. Let your achievements haunt them. Let your growth be the ghost that follows them, whispering, "You underestimated me, and now you're irrelevant." This is how legends are made. Not by clapping back, by climbing higher. Not by settling scores, by setting standards. The world's waiting. Your throne's empty. What's it going to be?